Today we're talking about the best martial arts to learn if you want to be a killer on the street, if you want to defend yourself, if you want to defend your family, essentially if you want to be John Wick or Batman. Now I'll be ranking these in how effective they are inside the dojo or the ring, and then how powerful they are outside on the street. And kind of the aim of this video is to help some of you guys get into a martial arts that you know is going to benefit you in the future and not waste your time. Now we're going to be ranking these martial arts from S to D, but there is probably hundreds and hundreds of different martial arts. Motherfuckers just make shit up every single day, but these are the main ones. And whilst you're looking at these images right now, not really understanding what the hell's going on, I know, and I'm gonna get through it, so just bear with. Okay, so going into the first one is gonna be Muay Thai. Now Muay Thai is actually low-key lethal. They're using their elbows, knees, fists, and everything, and it's the one reason I would personally not get into Muay Thai, because I'm not feeling like getting put to sleep with someone's hard ass crowbar elbow. And it's useful both in training and outside training, simply because you're punching and you're kicking. Now I have been seeing a trend recently of boxers starting Muay Thai and boxing the shit out of Muay Thai fighters, because these guys aren't specialized in boxing. They've got knees, they got legs, they got elbows. Why would they prioritize hands? Because they're not relying so much on their hands, they can get outboxed pretty easily. But I would put Muay Thai in S tier, because using every single part of your body, especially in a street fight, is really effective, and you can definitely take out 1 to 3 people using it. Now next we have wrestling. If you do wrestling, you can be seen as a bit zesty, but hey, there's nothing wrong with wanting to cuddle up with your boys on the floor. Now I've done wrestling for about half a year. It was a questionable time in my life. Now the thing with wrestlers is these guys are super strong, super fast, and they are really flexible, which means these guys in a matter of seconds can be behind you with you halfway in the air and landing on your neck. I actually have quite a lot of respect for wrestlers, just simply from how fast and agile these guys move. The thing is with wrestling is these guys rely on picking people up, and if the other guy they're facing is also a wrestler, then the fight is going to be really difficult. It's going to be really 50-50, and we don't want that, especially when there could be multiple people you're trying to fight at once. In the gym, it's really good. Outside the gym, I would say it's like a 50-50. So for that, I'm going to put it in A tier. Now next we have big boys, sumo. Now sumo is actually a dog of a martial art, but the reason it's on here is because of the guys that do sumo. I could punch one of these guys as hard as I can in the face, and I feel like my fucking hand would shatter before anything happens to their face. You really don't want to piss off someone that does sumo. You can shoot them, you can punch them, you can stab them, and you're gonna be the one walking away injured. All in all, if you train sumo, you're probably going to get massive enough to not be defeated. However, the actual martial art is dog on the street. I'm going to put it in C tier. Now, next we have Kung Fu. These guys jump around, spin around, go psh, psh. They can probably deflect bullets when no one's looking. All in all, I think Kung Fu looks really cool. However, in practice, it rarely ever works, and you don't really see a lot of people do it unless they're Shaolin monks. Can these guys stop bullets? Can these guys take a 1v5? I've never seen it happen, and I don't think I ever will. I think it's more of a cool looking combat style than practical, and for that, it's gonna go into C tier. Now next, we have Top G with kickboxing. Now kickboxers are super annoying to fight because they just can't fight properly. With boxers, you know, they have a nice style. It's just 1-2 down the line, looking all clean. Kickboxers, they're a bit weird. Every time I used to spar kickboxers, they weren't necessarily the best fighters, but they had different stances, different ways of movement, and I was just so confused because they're unpredictable. Every time you're facing a kickboxer, you can almost guarantee they have an injury. All they need is one kick in the leg and they will discombobulate like a broken Lego piece. I will put kickboxers in S tier. It's super useful on the street, especially if you're going up against multiple people. You could start with a kick and box the other one, and then box and kick the third one. Now next we have judo. Judo looks really cool. It's kind of like a buffed up wrestling. However, it's more of the flashy stuff rather than rolling around hugging each other on the floor. I really like judo just because of how fast and practical it is. However, a lot of judo involves in standing up rather than being on the floor. So for that, they only know the stand-up part. I think if they take someone down, they'll kind of stand there a bit confused. So for that, it's going to go in B tier. And then next we have Jiu-Jitsu. Now I don't know what the recent trend has been, but everyone and their mom has started Jiu-Jitsu. It's kind of like a trend to be a Jiu-Jitsu black belt at this point. Everyone you see online that's a coach teaching coaches, they also for some reason are a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. However, Jiu-Jitsu outside on the street is really useful. I've seen some crazy creative stuff with the locks they do, with the jumping grabs they do. It's really cool. There is always this argument whether Jiu-Jitsu beats strikers, but I think Jiu-Jitsu is going to have to go in A tier because you are not beating multiple people with locks. You are not doing anything if it's more than a 1v1. And that's the reason it goes to A tier. If there was more involved in Jiu-Jitsu, it'll definitely be an S. However, you are limited in the street fight if the guy you're fighting has homies. Now next we have Conor McGregor and MMA. Now MMA is mixed martial arts. It's the yin and yang. You're doing everything. You're doing striking, grappling, wrestling. What are you not doing? However, that is the problem as well. When you're learning everything, you don't have time to master one thing. Similar to Muay Thai, when you got all of these other things you can be using to strike someone, you're not going to be focusing on one thing, which means your boxing, your kicking, they're not going to be as good. However, MMA is an all-around tool, and for that reason, I'm going to put them in S tier because these guys also fight with barely any equipment.
On total strikes at the moment.
Now next, we have boxing. Now, boxing is always said to be the best because in a street fight, you are using most of your hands. You don't really have time to put your foot up and kick someone in the face, especially when it's getting real confrontational. You're standing right in front of the other guy, he pushes you back, and you have to go for the full swing. If you know how to throw one good punch, you're taking the guy out. However, you've also got to understand that boxing in a street fight is different to boxing in a ring. So guys that do the whole slipping, they dance around, these guys are not going to be good in a street fight. It just depends on the style you acquire in the gym. If it's a good one, you're going to be really good in the street. However, if you dance around, bopping and weaving like a fucking idiot, you're not going to do good because you'll just get slapped in the face and you'll fall over. If you're going against the 1v5 and you can box and slip all punches, you're going to be practically unstoppable. The only downside of boxing is once someone grabs a hold of you, there is nothing you can do. Boxing would go in an A tier, and that is simply because if someone grabs you, you actually can't do anything. You can hook whatever you want, but once someone grabs you in the lock, you are cooked. And I would love boxing to be in an S tier because there's only so many things you can do, and if you throw one wrong punch and break your hand, you are left with a one arm piece up against 5 people, and that isn't the easiest thing to do. Now next we have the zestiest combat sport there is, and that is karate. I feel like any white belt in any combat sport can easily destroy a black belt in karate. A black belt in karate is sort of like getting your pen license in year 3. It's kind of a flex, but when you get older, you kind of realize, what the fuck even is this? It's not useful, and I'm never gonna need this in my life. But yeah, I haven't actually seen a normal man do karate. They've always got something wrong with them, or they're just zesty. Karate in D tier. Now last but not least, we have the ninja of combat sports. The guys that know this. They are unstoppable. They can move through punches in slow motion. They freeze time. They can weave and bop every single thing you throw. If this had its own separate ranking, it would, and it is a keto. Now, if you know anything about keto, you have definitely seen the people that do it. They're usually greasy, really large, and overweight. Now, every time I see these guys online, they are fighting 4 people at once in slow motion. And I'm sure it's in slow motion because the coach that's fighting them usually uses his mana and soul energy to slow down time and space. All being serious, there's a complete joke and disgrace to combat sports. It's more of a play around. If you like having fun, definitely do this. But if you ever want to beat anyone up, do not get into a keto unless you want to get punched up in the face and thrown to the floor. It is going in F tier, but there is no F tier, so it's going to be D tier. Now, as you can see, for the most part, the combat sports that are in S tier have striking abilities from both hands and legs. You cannot ever underestimate guys that do grappling, because once they grab a hold of you, they will throw you and destroy you. Yeah, I hope this video saves someone from wasting years of their life, and if you want to protect yourself and your family, do the stuff that's in the A to S. It will really help you out in the future and make you strong. But yeah, let's go. Boom.